Hello there and welcome to the Studio Roundtable on how IT should power business innovation. I'm Doug Drinkwater, I'm the Director of Strategy here at HotTopics, and I'm joined today by an experienced panel of technology leaders as we discuss how IT takes a proactive role in driving business change through technology, how they balance agility and speed with the business as usual, and ultimately how IT underpins and empowers business innovation.
I think innovation covers so many different areas. There's so many different types of innovation. So for me, depending on which part of my team I'm working with, it can be disruptive innovation, where we're creating new products and services as part of our digital products and solutions that we offer to our clients. Or it can be more sustaining innovation, where we're working and looking at new ways and how we can improve our efficiency and effectiveness as a business as well. So it really depends on which lens you're looking through, where we get involved with innovation.
I think the one thing you can say, which is the truism about innovation, is it is here to stay. 88% of our customers say that digital disruption is a part of their business. And we sort of look at it from two components. One is innovation from an IT perspective out to their customers, but there's also an innovation piece that sits right underneath how IT operates day to day. And that manifests itself in many ways, and it can be around how we look at visibility of very complex application environments that we have today, where we're pulling data from SaaS providers, from data within our own data centers and within our own applications, and making sure that customer experience never fails, so that when you actually come to do something, that experience is seamless, and we see that fault or that issue at the point in time it occurs.
IT, I guess, is at the very heart of innovation in the modern world from a business perspective. And you've got the enablement of innovation from within the organization. And when you develop and invent and create IP, if that is at the core of what you do, or you, as it were, insource it. And so you need to find how companies innovate and how they're going to actually add value, add competitive advantage. And then it comes back to the very interesting area of, there's the business as usual. IT, people use that horrible phrase, the plumbing, but actually it's how you do that can either transform the ability of the business to innovate, because you're delivering a seamless IT service with the best tools and technology to enable your business, even from a generic day-to-day perspective, to perform and outperform. And innovation in that area is around process and around technology and around the best service providers, all having the best internal teams.
It's obviously that the plumbing, the operational side of IT is critical to running the business. But to your point about it being a back office function, that back room stigma almost that has come from historically from IT, I think we've got to change that by actually getting in front of the rest of the wider business that you work with, partnering with that part of different parts of the business to understand what are those requirements, what are those challenges that they're facing, and between understanding those challenges, you can use a technology lens to actually look at where we can try and change it, where technology can improve that process and perhaps even completely disrupt it as well. So I think a lot of it is going to be about those really valuable and rich conversations with your business partners to understand really what they're trying to achieve. What's the business outcome? You've got to create those opportunities where people understand the benefit and will actually be willing to invest and put the budget there for you to do that innovation, so they actually realizing the benefits that come back from it. But that all comes from articulating that story, telling the story and getting that across is so important.
Every investment that the line of business makes or the business makes in technology always has an impact on IT. And one of the examples I've seen with one of the big Canadian banks was they gave free rein to the business to go out and invest in SaaS platforms to enhance their service offerings back to their customers. But that had a huge impact on data, where data was stored and where it was moved to and from, and that cost money. But even down to the basic plumbing topic we talked about before, every time they connected in, there were circuits going into those providers, which then had to be managed by IT. And it was adding literally tens of thousands of dollars of cost every time one of those was added, which the line of business never saw. And IT sort of received still within the constraints of their operating budgets. So I think having, no matter where the investment, the front-end investment's going, it's essential that IT and the line of business from a technology point of view are looking at the complete picture of what the implications of everything that happens, rather than operating independently.
And absolutely, and that was an example of an internal project where they hadn't actually brought IT into the discussion, and therefore the costs rocketed because there was a whole load of unfactored in costs. And the interesting thing is also when you're doing an implementation of innovation using an external provider, you absolutely have to factor in all elements that need to support that implementation and innovation. So it's the end-to-end exercise. Everybody says failure is good. No, failure is actually disastrous. Don't fail. We don't want you to fail. That's not why we're in business. But experimentation is essential. And experimentation involves successful tests and unsuccessful tests. And the MVP, and so, one needs to be clear about what we're talking about. And of course, invention and experimentation is at the very heart of innovation.
But that cooperative piece is important. But otherwise, in the examples we talked about, the IT just looks like it's a break. So we're going to give you the 10 reasons why things can't be done unless you're in on it right from the get-go. Yeah.
It does depend on the lens that you're looking at, and I actually am involved in both IT and also with digital as well. So from a digital perspective, we are that disruptive innovation. We look at new products and services that we can bring to market as part of our Stantec.io platform and solution. Whereas on the IT side of things, we're looking at more automation. We as a company, Stantec does many acquisitions, so we're always looking at how we effectively integrate those businesses into the wider organisation. So a lot of that time and attention and obviously focus goes on looking at how we can make the systems unified together, and looking at where we can reduce as much manual handling as possible. So to Ian's point, around automation is critical, but we just don't want to automate a manual process to become a digital process. We want to actually look at the business process model around that and innovate on that as well, to really make sure that we're getting the most from the technology and also making the processes as efficient as possible. It's around going back to that, having the story, having the conversation with the rest of your business partners, people understanding what you can bring to the table. What's the art of the possible, and really enabling or being the enabler of that vision to make new things happen and create new services and create different ways of working. So it's making sure you're having those right conversations. Making room for innovation is so important. It's just not going to happen by itself. So you've got to have a structure that supports innovation, that embraces it. You've got to make sure that you're understanding what the business challenges are. What are the business outcomes that you need to achieve? And by bringing all that together and then putting a tech wraparound to it, that's where great things can happen.
Yeah, I'm on the same path. I think it's essential that IT invests in innovation and is seen to invest in it. We talked about the talent bit already, but traditionally IT is seen as the constraint. So you can't do this because for security reasons or whatever it happens to be. So exposing development environments, exposing corporate data to allow the business to access that information in a safe way, and then bringing the talent with it to help them do that, I think are vital ingredients for changing the dynamic between IT and the business.